Now, there's one thing to go play for Pat LaFontaine, but you also lived with him as well. And I would think through that process you would pick up a lot of the things that go into being a professional athlete.
I think it was definitely a bonus to live with someone who's in the Hall of Fame. You know, it's someone like Pat who's a really smart guy, and you know, we'd watch hockey games, playoff games, regular season games, and he'd be predicting the score and who would score, and he's, you know, most of the times he'd be right. And you know, just the way he broke down the game into the little things was really impressive to me, and I learned a lot off the ice as well.
Now, after that, you had to make another decision where you wanted to go. What were your choices, and why did you pick what you picked?
My choices were, you know, the national development team, and also Indiana for a year, and you know, it was pretty much this year, and then I was committed to Michigan State, so it was either those two. And you know, Steve Spott and his staff followed me throughout that Long Island year, and ended up meeting Spotter at the state final and the national final, and he said, you know, no pressure, but it's an hour and a half over the border if you want to just come, you know, check it out. And you know, I never really thought I'd play in the OHL, and but as soon as I went with my mom and one of my close family friends, there was just kind of that feeling on the way home that, you know, that this was a place for me.
We mentioned Pat LaFontaine. Also, I guess some other guys used to play for the Sabres. Mike Pekka and Matt Barnaby, and those. I mean, how did you get involved and to know all these guys?
Growing up, I lived in condos where the Sabres players would stay, but my mom and my aunt became good friends with those guys, and you know, kind of growing up, you know, he'd be at my 5th and 6th birthday party, and you know, I knew he was an NHL player, but I really didn't know what it took to get there. And you know, really in the past 3-4 years, I think Matt Barnaby has been, you know, one of my biggest mentors, whether it comes to making a decision or, you know, when I'm down after a game, he's kind of, you know, there. He's been there, he's gone through the CHL, he's been to the NHL, so he's pretty much done, you know, everything that I want to do.
There's a lot of people getting excited about you as an NHL prospect now. How do you look towards the NHL draft? As a complete unknown, or full of possibilities, or what do you imagine?
I'm trying to make a name for myself now, and you know, a good name, not a bad name, and you know, hopefully, you know, whatever happens in the draft, you know, it's not the end-all be-all. You know, there's guys, Pavel Datsyuk, and you know, just a couple guys that come to name that, you know, weren't drafted or were drafted late, and you know, they're probably, you know, top 20 in the league now. So I think, you know, the draft, it does make it a little bit easier to maybe get a chance in the NHL, but I think staying there is, you know, all up to you and how hard you want to work.